our next speaker is Miss Ivy Chebiwot Kessei. She is a Kenyan communication specialist with expertise in corporate communication, journalism, and communication for development, focusing on youth and women's empowerment and climate resilience. Guess what, guys? She is joining us right now from Kenya. So it may be lovely to highlight we just want, shed light on the global south, the diversity and her efforts, because guess what? It is now 1:30 a.m. for her. Look at that, the commitment. Miss Kessei, over to you.
Thank you so much, Doreen, for the opportunity to actually interact with the community out there and to voice especially what is happening back here in Kenya. So I'm really going to talk about women in coffee and how participatory communication is a major tool that is really impactful when it comes to climate change and its resilience. Just to take you back and to make you get a context of what is happening, so that I introduce the participatory communication, which is the main topic of discussion in my presentation. Just to mention that coffee in Kenya, you find that 70% of the contributor is the woman. So you find that the women contribute 70%, but you realize most of the 70% only applies in the farm. But when it comes to the production until the end product, we lose the women at some point. So that means they are not involved. That's why I bring in the aspect of participatory communication, which ideally entails that all stakeholders must be involved in the decision-making process. When it comes to policy making, every stakeholder must be involved. And when they say it's only the shoe wearer who knows where it pinches, at this point it's the farmer, and in this case it's the woman, because she's literally in the farm all day, but never gets to touch the money, never gets to understand, post-production, what happens. But then if they knew, the know-how of how to actually get better yields, by now we understand that coffee production has been affected, especially at the farm level, because of climate change issues. We have low production, we have pests and diseases coming to play. We have little or no knowledge about how to manage how to manage climate issues, because we are facing them right now. So it is upon the women right now to be able to get access to funds. You can only get access to funds if you know the know-how on how to manage the farming itself. So participatory communication, in the sense that the woman needs to be involved in all decision making. When they are doing policy, when they are doing knowledge building, the woman has to be part of it. So I'll give a perspective of the Kenyan coffee, the Kenyan women in coffee. I'm looking at just one area, which is an area of interest to me because I've worked with women around this region. So what happens is, most of the time when we go down to the field and we want to talk to the farmers, most of the people who come, like in the past, most of the people who would come were actually men. But then remember, the men are not found in the farms. So any information that reaches them is not trickled down to the woman. So we are coming to a point where we want to target the women, let them know what is happening and what needs to be done, so that even when we're mitigating climate change, the resilience becomes very strategic. So I'll go down to what we've managed to do in the Kenyan context, with the farmer being involved. So at this point really is to encourage the women to be involved when it comes to training. We call the women to come for training, so that we have stakeholders like, say, researchers. We have agro dealers who talk to them about the best chemicals to use in their farms. We have researchers on board who also come to make them understand the best species and the best variety. The best variety of seed that they should use. Those ones especially that are resilient to climate issues. Then we also have financial institutions that come talk to them about how to position themselves so that they may gain financial bargain when it comes to lending. So at the moment, what we are trying to do with these ladies is to actually have them sit together. Another thing is to also mention, just like what Nicole had mentioned earlier, that it's important for the women to have networking position, so that they're able to get peer-to-peer learning. Important to also note that old knowledge is very important. Most of the time you find that for farmers, they're so banked with information from the internet, yet we don't have the same farmers banking into the same knowledge by having peer-to-peer. So we've come to a conclusion that women need to sit together, have peer-to-peer learning where they talk about the issues that they are facing in the farms. They, from different regions, how they manage the climate resilience strategies that they use in their different farms. A good example is to also encourage the women to get into greening. We're at a point in Kenya whereby we are so much into greening, because remember that part of the issue that we're facing right now is deforestation. So we are telling the women it's about time we plant the trees. You can have your small piece of land where you have your coffee, then in between have the trees planted, so that we eradicate the issue of soil erosion and soil degradation. So we advise the women, we come together, advise the women that they should plant trees. In this case, you could have like avocado trees alongside with your coffee. At the end of the day, you're still gaining by selling the avocados, which is the fruit trees, and still gaining by the coffee. Because once you have good cover for the coffee, then it means your coffee will do well. If you're having good certified seeds for the coffee, it means your yield goes up. So it's about building structures, putting structures into place where the woman really understands exactly what they're supposed to do at the farm. We're at a point of also using the community radio. So there's a lot going on, and it's a point whereby farmers are learning a lot from community radio. Remember, community radio is more of solutions within a specific area. So like, for example, where we are right now, an area called Kericho, it's mostly dominated by a community called Kalenjin. So if we have community radio that we have women understanding the vernacular, which is the Kalenjin, they are more likely to get better information on how to mitigate some of these climate issues that we have. So this is very close to them, because at the same time there's feedback. They're able to talk back to the radio, and the journalists can air their issues. So remember, the same old knowledge that the women have down at the ground is still passed to the community radio, then it trickles down the information to the mass. So these are some of the things that we're trying to do with farmers at the ground level, but also to remember that all stakeholders means also the agro dealers. So the agro dealers will also come on board and produce good fertilizers that are best for the coffee practice. And one thing I forgot to mention is that we encourage the women to participate in afforestation by doing especially avocado, because the same chemicals that you use on coffee is the same chemicals that you're going to use on avocados. So you're also looking at how you're getting your money stretched out, not having to spend so much, because we also have the money aspect, and there's a lot going on when you introduce money, whereby you're asking a farmer, you need to spend this much on fertilizer, you need to spend this much on spraying of chemicals and whatnot. But if the farmer understands that the same chemicals are going to be used for your coffee and your trees and your avocados, there's more of change of mindset, and they're willing to keep up with that. So we are also getting to talk to our community leaders at the ground level. Remember, the community leaders are the same leaders who are the catalyst for change. You're more likely to understand your community leader if you come from a specific region. If your community leader explains to you the needs to have climate resilient strategies, you're more likely to understand them, you're more likely to believe them, because you speak the same language, you know each other. So empowering the community leaders becomes a very a key point, so that the same information the community leaders are empowered with somehow is cascaded to the community. And you find that women, I'm very happy to mention that women right now have a sense of awakening, whereby no woman wants to be left behind. Many places we've done training, you'll find that women are even come with their kids carried at their backs, and they're able to sit through. You can imagine a lady comes to a training session where it takes about 3 days, and they'll come with their baby, 4 5 months old, to just learn anything that they need to understand and take it back home. So you can imagine the same woman who has so much patience, she has so much resilience, yet does not have her voice when it comes to sitting at a table where decisions are made. What I'm trying to point is that it is very important to have participatory communication among the women in coffee, because they have so much knowledge that will be very useful, especially in coming up with policies, coming up with laws that even govern, coffee, govern also, agricultural laws that are were supposed to abide by in the country. So their voice must be heard because they're important people in the society. They have shown the need, they have shown that they are ready to work. So it's about time that the voice is heard, and it's about time that the woman is heard and seen at the same time. So just to conclude, I'd like to mention that at such a time where we're dealing with so much climate issues and we're dealing with resilience, you cannot leave the woman behind. It's about time that our voices are put out there. We are shouting at the top of our voices, because our voices need to be heard, honestly. So I'm also encouraging every woman out there that it's about time. You need to be heard. Your voice needs to be heard. Uh, then also, we're trying to break the traditional barriers whereby the woman is only supposed to be seen in the farm. No, they're supposed to sit at a round table, discuss issues that are really pertinent, because we know at the end of the day, when it comes to any crop, ideally, contributes to food security. So it's about time that some of these things are discussed. So I'll end by just mentioning something. While I was going through, of course, the socials, I saw someone who mentioned actually a coffee farmer, I think from south, the south of, south of America, or is it central? Sorry, Central America. And he mentioned that land is life, and for me, I quote him, earth is a treasure. So he continues to say, I want to do something or have something for those who come after me, so my children can continue to live off the land. So you realize that there's a sustainability issue here. Once this land is taken care of, once the coffee as a crop is taken care of, then it means we also have value for the generations to come. It's not about now, but it's something that will also add value for even the generations that are yet to come. I think up to there, that is what I have to present. And thank you so much. I'm just sorry about the video issue, but I hope my voice was loud and clear.
Thank you so much, Ivy. A powerful reminder that peer-to-peer learning is very, very important. Your insights from Kenya, it showed us that women's voices can truly shape resilience on the ground to build a legacy for generations to come. And just to check the chat, I saw somebody asked a question if the recordings will be available. Yes, the recordings will definitely be available on Global Yardi and the Climate Conscious YouTube and Facebook. And you guys could also check TCCP's LinkedIn. So you guys could always go there to see the recording. We're going to move right along, and we're going to have our last but our not least speakers for the night. We'll have a combined presentation from Miss Maxine Aline Esprit and Karina Gomez. They are from the International Organization for Migration.